Now, one thing that we mentioned about an hour ago on the Junkie Sports page is that massive contract that Fernando Tatis Jr. signed, a 14-year deal that's going to pay him well over $300 million in the life of the contract. And we put up the Junkies poll of the day, brought to you by Van Meter Homes, and that is, should the Washington Nationals do the same thing with Juan Soto and break the bank? The choices are yes, absolutely yes, and no. And there's actually 14% that say no. And a couple people have tweeted us, don't do it, and they're pointing to Miguel Cabrera. So Miguel Cabrera was a stud with the Tigers for many, many years. He's still with the Tigers. You look at his stretch from 2010 through 2013, 38 homers, 30 homers, 44 homers.
Didn't he win a triple
44
crown?
home runs. Yeah, I mean, he was an absolute monster
I'm
for a
making
while.
that up.
And he signed a $260 million deal. And he hasn't been the same player like the last 5 years.
Yeah, a lot of injuries.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that, is injury.
But see,
and
the difference between these two is Soto, you still control him for, 3 more years? He's got 3 more years of arbitration.
Yeah, they don't have to do it.
So you can give him $10 million, $15 million, whatever the arbitration number is, for the next 3 years. And
but then you risk
settle
losing
in.
him. But then you risk losing him.
The Padres were in the same position with Tatis Jr. Tatis Jr. actually has less time, right? Just 2 seasons with the Padres, and he'd hit 39 home runs, hitting 301. I mean, actually, his numbers are pretty much in sync with Soto's. Because Soto's just played more. So Soto's got 69 career homers, batting average at 295. So do you follow their lead and
I don't know
give
if the
Soto that
learners are
kind of
going to
money?
be crazy about shelling out that sort of cash.
I understand that. Forget about the learners. What does Cakes do? Would you give him
I
a
would sign him.
14-year deal right now?
JP, you're talking to the guy who a few years ago said that if I were the eldest learner, I walk into the room and say, I don't even know what the word budget means. I'm going for the World Series. I don't care how much we spend because we have $4 billion in the bank or $4 billion in assets. So I'm going to spend away. So if you ask Cakes Lerner, yes, I'm signing Juan Soto. I'm giving him that Tatis deal because he's that good.
Maybe I wait for one of the arbitration years to pass, so 2023, when you still control him for 2 more years, and then I offer him $400 million or whatever it would take. But you're right. If you wait until 25 and he's a UFA, then you risk losing him. But there's no way he's going to turn down that money if you offer him 375 or whatever it would be.
Hard to imagine. But a lot of it depends on character, right? And the good thing is that Soto seems to pass all the character tests with flying colors.
Yeah.
Right. So he's not going to be a guy, and I'm not suggesting this is Cabrera. I don't know Cabrera, but he's not going to be a guy where you give him the money and then he just sort of shuts it down.
No.
So I think from that standpoint, you'd be fine. You have to just cross your fingers. Of course, these guys will all get insurance on injury. But I don't know. I do worry that once he gets closer, he's just going to end the way of Rendon and these others and Bryce that just they get such big offers elsewhere that it's kind of hard to stay.
So would you play the waiting game? By the way, Cabrera signed his deal in 2016, and it would give me pause because his production has gone way down. Now, he's older than Juan Soto, but an 8-year, $248 million contract that now has an annual average salary of $31 million, and he's been a shell of his.
Same thing happened with
Pujols. He had been in the league.
The same thing.
Right, so I actually would be leery. I get what you're saying. You don't want the guy to get bitter you. And Soto's agent is Scott Boras. So Soto can be a high-quality guy, but you're still dealing with Boras.
But I would rather
on
lock
the business
him in.
side.
I'd rather lock him in at a younger age, and it doesn't have to be a 14-year deal.
What if he
the
burns
numbers
you?
are right, make it a 10-year deal so that you're not paying for the decreased production toward the end of that
But
deal.
the difference
when it's in
between
his
those
30s.
two deals is Cabrera, like you said, he signed it in 16, you said?
Yes.
Okay, so he had already been in the league almost 15 years.
Right.
So it's almost like the Tigers paid him for what he had already done.
He was
and
33 at the time.
all the production he gave
That's
him.
way different.
Yeah.
It's way different. You're signing a guy into his 30s. You'd be signing Soto like at 23 or 24.
It's a much different deal. What's comparable to what Tatis signed for, and obviously the Padres said, we're all in, you're our guy. 14 years, 340. Would Soto get more than that maybe next year? Probably. depending on what he does this year. But he's going to keep killing the ball. You know he is.
But it isn't the question not so much should they give Soto the money, but are you worried that the learners won't give him the money?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, we didn't know if they were going to give Strassi the money
They
either.
gave it to
did.
Strauss. They gave a lot of money to Scherzer at the
They'll
time.
give it to
they picked their
pitchers. They've
spot.
shown they'll give it to
they've-
starting pitchers.
Yeah,
They
but
have-
Soto's a different deal.
Yeah.
He's just one of the guys that comes around. He's a rare bird.
The problem is Boris, and sometimes you wonder if the client's in charge or Boris is in charge.
Yep.
You know, and so that's the problem. I don't think Boris is in any hurry to sign him to a deal now. Why would he? You know, he knows he's got a stud.
No, the
MVP.
closer he gets into free agency, the better.
Yeah, and I'm not sure he wants to sign him to a 14-year deal. You know, Boris
Right.
probably wants him to sign a 5-year deal, so then he could get another $500 million. You know, whatever.
Didn't Mike
5
Rizzo
years.
say on the show like a year ago that they'd happily give Soto $180 million, but he would never accept that?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
But
he knows
but I
his worth
guarantee
is
he
more
would-
than that.
But hold on, but I don't know if he would turn down 340.
It's a lot of money,
I'm
man.
not sure they would offer it.
Yeah, I'm
But
just
Boris
saying if
might
they
be
did.
telling him that would be lowballing himself. If you want to chime in, 800-636-1067. What would you do, and would you be concerned that Soto sees something like this and Washington, you know, they actually start talking and Washington says, oh, well, we'll do that, but we'll give you, $150 million in deferred money, which is Washington's go-to move. We
Yeah.
talked about it yesterday. Strasburg's got $80 million in deferred money coming to him when his
And
contract
Strasburg's a
winds
chill,
down.
mellow guy. He didn't care. But that doesn't,
Some guys
not
don't
everybody's
like it.
that. Not everybody's like that. I'm going to guess that we lose Soto. And it's hard for us as fans to really have a beef because the Learners did bring a championship here. They figured out a way. And it's also probably going to sort of embolden them if they decide, you know what, we're going to hold the line here. We're only going to go to a certain amount. We got rid of Bryce and won a World Series the next year. So I'm going to guess if we had put money on it, Soto's not going to be here for 10 years. 3 or 4 years, he'll be
I
gone.
mean, it's a distinct possibility.
That's
Yeah.
just
I mean,
kind of
we've
what
seen
their
Rendon
MO
and
is.
Harper, but both huge stars not get money from the Learners. They went elsewhere.
Unless the Learners switched it up and offered a huge deal in arbitration that can't be turned down.
By the way,
They've
Soto
never
hit
done that, but maybe they would.
Soto hit 351 last year. I know it was a limited
monster.
sample size. Again, if you want to chime in, 800-636-1067. It's just interesting when you see those huge contracts, and Tatis is 22, same age as Juan Soto, less Major League Baseball time, less games played.
Do we have any details on
get that deal?
Is any of that money deferred for Tatis Jr.? Because
I
we
didn't-
know that the Learners love to offer deferred money.
I didn't read that. You also have to think about Turner, because Trey Turner, he just signed the 1-year deal, the $13 million deal for this year in the arbitration, but he's only got 1 more year left in arbitration. Then he's a UFA in 23. I would think you want to keep Trey Turner. And he
Yeah,
just saw
there's
Tatis
just too
Jr.
many.
He
There's
saw
just too many of them.
Tatis Jr. get 14 years, 340. I mean, I don't know where you start with Turner.
My
Especially-
heart will be broken when these guys all move on. But I think the Learners, and it's hard to argue, they brought a World Series here. They've done it their way.
How long can you say that for?
Right.
Forever.
So the Nationals can just dismantle the team, and then you'll
They
look
kind of
back
get
on
a
that.
free. They kind of get a free. At least certainly they do now, Valdez. You think they don't now? It's only been two
No,
years.
you want to keep your superstars.
You do, but
Yeah.
their blueprint is not that. They just think they'll draft other sillies.
Okay.
I'm telling you, these guys are going to be gown. They'll keep a couple of them. They're not keeping all of them.
It's the baseball money is just dumb money. Mike Trout, 426.
They're not paying anybody 400. They're not paying anybody 400 million.
Mookie
500
Betts,
million.
365 million.
They
Fernando
aren't doing
Tatis,
it.
340 million.
Yeah.
Nope.
Some
He
teams
money
don't care.
goes.
He gone
Stupid.
cakes.
Well,
The more I think about it-
By the way, where are the Padres getting all of this money? Have you seen some of the contracts they're doling out? They gave Valdez's boy Machado $300 million.
They're all in, bro.
Eric Hosmer is making $144 million. I wouldn't know Eric Hosmer if he was pouring my coffee at Starbucks
Baseball
later
cakes.
today with his jersey on.
I'm sure he's not an
What's-
all-star first baseman.
And he's
Right.
making $144 million from San Diego?
He's right though.
Well,
Most
you
people
know
don't
what?
who he is.
I need to look into their owner, see what he's up to. I need to see what sort of line of business he's in.
Yeah. And hey, they got Manny.
Yeah,
Manny's making a ton of
300
money.
milli.
Yeah.
They got 5 guys over 10 million.
Darvish is
What I
making
can
a
see.
bunch of money too.
Actually, 6. Darvish is making 22 million.
Yep.
Hosmer 21. Will Myers 22.5 million. Manny's making 32. Snell 11 million. And then you toss in what they just did with Tatis Jr.
I mean, what is going on out in San Diego?
EB's content being the Oakland A's of the
And that's
National
a
League.
small market too, by the way. Like so
Yeah.
if you're a Nats fan and you see what's going on in San Diego, you're like, well, that's it's a smaller market. Where are they getting all this money? And they're willing to spend all the money, all of their money.
Listen, Valdez, all I'm saying is this is what the learners are going to do. They're going to stick to their plan. They're going to stick to their budget, and they're not going to give a guy $500 million. I would, if it was me, I'd give all the guys all the money. I'm emotionally tied to all these guys.
Yeah, but you're okay with it. For some reason, you've rationalized it.
Yeah, because they brought us a World Series, and you have to just tip your cap to them.
Are you going to rationalize it 10 years from now?
We'll get to that.
Don't you want to get to another World Series?
Yeah,
I
but
would.
But just because we think
I
it's
don't
a
know.
bad
You don't
idea
sit
doesn't
there-
mean it's a bad idea.
You don't sit there and look at your dusty Redskins Super Bowl trophy and
Everybody
give them a
thought
pass.
the Nats were going to go on the toilet when they let Bryce go, and they won a friggin' World Series. So, I mean,
Well, I just think Soto's one of those
my
guys.
decisions would all be emotionally based, and they'd all be terrible.
Right. All right. Well,
I'd
you've
resign
admitted that.
everyone.
You've admitted that.
Yes.
But I just when you have a player like a Soto who comes around once every 50 years, you got to keep him.
I agree.
Well, at least attempt to keep him. If he
They're not
turns
going to
down
give
the
him
money,
$500 million.
Well, hold on. If he turns down the money you offer him, you say, look, we offered him $400 million. He wants to go to free agency.
But JP's
Okay.
right. $300 million of it will be deferred. They're not going to take that.
Love the
Do you
deferred
make
Not
the
gonna
offer?
take it.
But
Maybe.
so you guys are all on board with making the offer now. Because
Yes.
I would be nervous because you never know what's going to happen injury-wise. He does
Forrest is
look
gonna
like
take it now.
an amazing talent, and you just assume he's going to be an all-star every season. But you don't know what he's going to be like when he's 28 years old, when he's 29 years old.
He's probably going to be pretty damn good.
No, but if you have a guy as talented as him, you have to roll the dice on that and hope that he just stays healthy.
Like I said, I don't know if I give it to him tomorrow, but maybe I wait for one more year, get him to arbitration, 2 or 3, and then if he has another big year, then we just break the bank. At least offer him, and then if he turns it down, okay, well, we did our part. Mm-hmm. But they got to worry about Turner first.
Yeah.
You got to get Turner. Do you want Turner signed?
Of course.
I love
yes.
Trey Turner. I think he's one of those guys you have to have. So
I want all the guys.
you got to work on him.
I'd bring the catchers back. I want all the guys.
You'd have such a high payroll. I would too.
Yeah.
I'd be right there with you.
I'm
I'd be
emotionally attached to all
spending
the
away.
guys. I don't like to see. The only one that I was okay with going was Pooh Little. I was fine with that. Move on.
He's such a nice guy.
He's a nice dude.
Yeah.
Though.
It's like
Such
the
a
nicest
nice
guy
guy.
ever.
He was a
struggled.
friggin' heart attack every time he was in.
Yeah, he struggled, but he was a good guy.
By the
Super
way,
nice
what do you do
guy.
with Scherzer after this year? He'll be an unrestricted free agent at
You gotta let him
37.
go.
I give him a boatload.
No,
let
you
him
don't.
go.
I'll say bye-bye.
But I don't
give
think
a
they
boatload.
will.
You won't give Soto a boatload.
No, you're missing. Stop putting words in my mouth. I give them all the money. I'm telling you, they won't.
Yeah, but you're not.
I would
but
give
you're
Max
not
the money.
But you're
they
okay
won't.
with
But you're not upset that you're letting everyone go.
He's kind of
They
resigned.
gave me a World Series ring. You think I'm going to be upset with them? Whatever they want
Hey,
to do.
we earned that ring, EB. I'm not sure how, but we earned it.
Yeah.
No, because
If they get another one, I'm psyched.
Mike Rizzo's making chicken salad out of chicken poop, and the learners are
I
doing
agree.
everything they can to stop you from getting another one.
Maybe.
And
I think it's a little overstated because if you look at their payroll, it's not like they have nobody who's making money. They've got some big money guys.
They pick
it's just
their
usually in the
spots.
pitchers. And look, they brought in Josh Bell, right? What's his contract?
I think it's relatively reasonable.
I
I
think
can
it's-
look it up.
I think it's probably okay. Yeah.
Of course, it's okay compared to what we make.
Josh Bell, 6.35
No.
milli.
Oh yeah. I mean that's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bargain.
He just signed a 1-year deal, right? It's a 1-year deal.
Yeah, I believe so.
Hey, that's nothing.
Listen, I'd be like Cakes. I'd spend all the learners' money.
Yeah,
I'd look at him
let's
and
do
go, "You got
this."
$4 billion. You're on your deathbed. Who cares? You're going to be dirt in a year. What do you care?" But, you know.
What?
It must be so nice to just go. It would be so nice to just have no budget.
Sometimes Bickle says things, and I just scratch my head and go, "What did he just say?"
Isn't Mark
Well,
Lerner
yeah, I'm just
running
saying.
the team?
I would
Yes.
spend all
Yes,
the learners'
that's correct.
money. The dad's on the brink, right?
Yeah, but he passed it on to Mark.
Yeah,
They
Mark
won't hire us
understood.
as EB.
Mark-
We should go in. We should walk down the street, down the block, and ask for an interview and say we want to be your new payroll consultants. By the way,
I'd give them
see how long
all
that
the
interview
money.
lasts.
Their
I'd
total
give everybody
payroll,
the money.
according to Spot Rack, is 161.8 million. It's not like they're nubbing it. They got Scherzer.
Oh, that's
at
because
30
they got $70 million in 2 pitchers.
Right. Well, 3 pitchers. They got Scherzer at
Well,
34
Corbin.
million, Corbin at 24, Strasburg at 35.
I'm sure
Turner's
your
making-
Orioles are
Trey
your
Turner's-
Orioles are going to be competitive, Valdez. They're spending $34 million.
Right.
They're,
Yeah.
they're tightening the belt.
I don't know how
Did
much
you-
tighter it can get.
My buddy texted me yesterday. He said the MLB released the odds for making the playoffs for
Right.
every team, and the only team that had a 0% was Baltimore.
You're kidding.
Well,
Yeah, they gave
Pittsburgh and Cleveland should be there too.
What happened to
I've
those
never,
that
even, I've never even heard of such a thing.
What happened to those math nerds that were supposed to be figuring it out? The Orioles
Here's what
version
the
of
mathers are
Moneyball.
doing. They're looking at their payroll and say, we can't compete. It's $34 million.
I think our South Philly Hoops team had a better chance of competing, JP.
Yeah. Hey, we used to at
O's.
least beat Beltsville and Greenbelt.
Yep. We had them. Every once in a while, we get Lanham a run for
Yeah,
them.
but you can't beat the Hills.
Baltimore's
beat
payroll,
the
by the
Hills.
way, is $34 million. 46% of it is taken up by Chris Davis.
Right.
Yeah.
Who strikes out 4 times a game?
Oh, what a disaster.
Hey, we just signed King Felix. Nice.
That's right.
Yeah, let's
Forgot about that.
Take us to the promised land.